Hey, bro.
Huh?
Let me ask you a question, man. Why you ain't change clothes, bro?
Let me ask you a question. Every time you see me, you gotta ask me a question like you 50 Cent asking people 21 questions.
But, bro, you gotta have some hygiene.
Let
man.
me ask you, did you take a bath last night?
Of course, and that's what I'm telling you, man. You gotta have some hygiene,
Well,
man.
congratulations, because I'm homeless and now I have the luxury to take a bath every night and wash clothes like that. So be grateful for what you got and stop always talking about people and stuff. That's what's wrong with people. They always talking about people instead of trying to help them and stuff. Just thank God that you able to take a bath and change your clothes every night. I might have them on the next day and the next day and the next day. That's between me and God. You worry about yourself. Any more questions?
You good,
Oh,
bro.
all right, that one I thought. Have a blessed day.
Teach your man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
If you're tired of being censored on social media, join 60s.net. It's black owned, black operated, and black moderated, and we make sure it stays a safe space for us to talk about all things black culture. We also got some cool gear like the FDM cotton crew neck, the Fearless Ancestors tee, hats, and more. Check us out at 60s.net.
Hey girl, why are you so sad?
I just got banned from Twitter again.
Shit.
Should have been on 60s.net. Ah.
What you are looking at is a monument to Wade Hampton. Wade Hampton was one of the largest enslavers in the state of South Carolina, which was one of the largest slave-holding states. And yet, here on the Capitol grounds, there is a monument to him. If South Carolina wants to recognize and remember this period of history, then it is incumbent upon South Carolina and the United States as a whole to repair the damage that has come from this period in history. At the end of the Civil War, Black Americans who are descendants of American slaves, legislatively called freemen, were supposed to receive their 40 acres in a mule, and that never happened. Instead, they saw their black Wall Streets burnt to the ground. They experienced Jim Crow, they experienced redlining, which robbed them of billions in dollars of wealth. In order for America to heal, Black America has to be repaired. I am running to repair Black America because until we all stand, we all have fallen.
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
All right, welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially, and this is the midweek report. So hopefully everybody is doing well. We are here once again, everybody. All right. So we got clearly some things to talk about today because we got some things in the news. So let me get this. Get this first banner going here. All right. So for those of you who are new to this channel, what we talk about here is Black First issues. And of course, starting with foundational Black Americans and pertinent information abroad. So for anybody who's confused. With that being said, shout out to everyone who is here. If you have not already hit the like button, please do so right now. Like and share on your social media because all pro-Black channels are routinely shadow banned. And for those of us, they are already well aware of us before we even hit YouTube. So make sure you hit that like and share button. And if you have not already subscribed to this broadcast, please do so right now. And hit the notification bell, hit the word all. So you'll be notified anytime this broadcast goes live or a video is uploaded. All right, so with that out of the way, let's greet the fam. Let's see who we got so far in the house. One Who Cares, Judah Queen, Quasi Black Star, Louise, Bryce Bees, Nikki Hernandez, Louise, Vivian Breeding, Shawana S., Oyela Arquette, Samuel Logan, Zene J., Silent D Productions. Let's see. What else we got? Tasha Peters in the house. Okay, I see you, Judah Queen. All right. So far, that's who has chimed in to the chat. Looks like we got more people watching that have not said anything, but that's all right. Let's see. We got Roderick Allen. Welcome. So with that being said, Norma X, welcome. So let me hit this other little ditty right here. This is just another less than a minute ad for Brother Marcel Dixon.
What would you think about a parent whose children are hungry? They let them starve. Likewise, here in South Carolina's 6th Congressional District, we are the 6th poorest district out of 435 total as of the year 2021. And yet, where is our Congressman, James Clyburn? I can tell you, he says he will be in California, in North Carolina, and Florida, and Georgia. But what about the needs of South Carolinians? I was born here, I was raised here, I live here, and I'm going to be here. You will never have to ask, where is Marcel?
All right. Shout out to Brother Marcel Dixon. If you are in South Carolina, by all means, please, please, please make it over to that brother's campaign. Which I think it is this one. So much has happened over the course of the last 48 hours. Well, should I say 36 hours? Dave Chappelle got assaulted. And matter of fact, I need to bring that up. Let me see if I can get that here. Because there was a tweet that I came across from about just not that long ago, just like a month ago. Afro Elite, that's mine. I see Kid Gravity Beyond in the house. Welcome, welcome. All right, all right. So let me see if I could find this, because this tweet sure didn't age well at all. Let's see. I hope they didn't take it down. Oh wait, there it is. There we go. Okay, just 1 second. Share this. All right, can y'all see that? So this was from last month over the Will Smith slap of Chris Rock. Well, this is what Amber J. Phillips had to say about it. Dave Chappelle needs his ass popped like that, if you ask me. Go figure. Go figure. Amber Abundance. What is this woman about? Let's go to her page. Storyteller and filmmaker. Okay. I would have to suspect that she might be part of that same community. If y'all have been in those Twitter spaces with that TSG person, just has a striking resemblance of sentiment to me. Could be a reach. Probably not. So with that being said, these type of things, just don't tend to normally happen in environments like this. But understanding when you go up against the alphabet mafia and they feel offended, well, we know how things continue to get. So, not quite sure who all leaked all of this footage, but kind of interesting that they got it because everything was locked up. So, kind of interesting. You got security. This guy sneaks in. He's supposedly homeless, supposedly a failed rapper at that. And suspected ties to the uh, to the alphabet community, as they say. Um, and with this being said, this brother actually had a knife and a fake gun. So, this could have went way wrong. But check this out, family.
Fuck him up!
Shut up.
I am going to kill that nigger. Wait, I gotta say that. Shout out to Jamie Foxx, by the way. Jamie, where you at? Jamie, hold up. Make some noise for Foxx. Whenever you were in trouble, Jamie Foxx would show up in the sheriff's hat. Turn the mic up. Nigga, I thought that was part of the show. I don't know what the fuck is... I grabbed the back of that nigga's head. His hair was spongy.
Brother, I see it.
Listen, I just want to say, man, I've had an incredible time. This man is an absolute genius. We got to make sure we protect him at all times, man.
Absolutely.
This is what it's about. For every comedian that comes out here, man, this means everything, man. You're a genius. You're a legend. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, and we're not going to let nothing happen to you, nigga. That's right. Give it up. This is the show. Wait. Nigga, I'm back there. I've been doing this 35 years. I just stomped the nigga backstage. Always wanted to do that. Nigga, I'm back there squeezing this nigga too. Niggas, I seen Busta Rhymes on it. It's like, that's how you do it, God. Hey, yo, where's Busta at? Busta, yo, what's up, Busta? Where's Busta at? Yo, where's Busta at? Turn the lights off. Give it up one more time, this
that dude up there headed to the ambulance with a cuffs on with his arm twisted like a pretzel. They tore him up, man.
Everybody compose yourselves. I wanted this to be a peaceful moment, and I'm sure now it is.
Man. Woo. Got straight smacked on. Now, again, this whole thing seems a little engineered. And again, I can't help but see how I'm looking at it. I know a lot of people, got the tinfoil kufi on, and you rightfully so. But are you looking at the correct perspective? Looking at the Will Smith situation, Will Smith is like out of the country, right? So he went to India to go clear his head. Okay, so with that being said, he's in a position to like be so far removed from it all. They're still bringing his name up by way of this because he's being used as a proxy to again get back to tying all black folks into being the face of crime. Did anybody see Eric Adams, the New York mayor, at the Met Gala with his "Stop Gun Violence" on the back? See, he's a big part of where they're going. Now, when I say them and there, that's the Democrats, I mean. So the Democrats are very much heading in this direction. And that's, we're already seeing the move. And it's a smart move on the right. It's good political posture. However, as far as we are concerned, we won't be moved by either side's posturing gestures. We could be moved by tangibles, though, and that is where we stand as a collective. Is we are not submitting or giving our vote for free this time around. As a collective voting bloc, we are demanding tangibles. And the talking heads that are already in with the DNC do not represent the votes of the people. They only represent the voices of who's sending them out there to speak. So, with that being said, in this day and age, you run a great risk of doing things how you always used to do them. And as you see, a lot of people are just showing the next group that they don't give a damn anymore. They're pulling out all the stops to get theirs in right now. Well, doesn't it makes sense, doesn't it? So let me see where I'm going to go next. Oh, let's see. I won't go to. I want to hit the RoeVWade thing. But first, I got to address. Every now and then, there will be people out here. CH464, welcome. People will kind of have drawn up ideas in their mind about how they perceive things. And then the rest of the world sees it for what it is. Now, in a lot of cases, you could probably get a lot of these people that think alike together. The internet's one of those spaces to where a lot of people can congregate. With that being said, when you have to come over here to the content creator avenue, it's a one person show. So, it's you and a co-host. But at the end of the day, everything that comes over this platform is clearly recorded. So that means that our information has to be on point. And we're giving the time to bring facts. So I understand there are other people who might not necessarily possess the wherewithal to do that. However, in their minds, they see themselves as like how you see like a James Bond or like a Superman or like the superhero, the one that always comes in and saves the day. However, what the rest of the world tends to see is not necessarily that. Because, see, every now and then, I don't know, man, reality might escape some people from time to time. It happens. And hey, man, you know, every now and then they feel themselves and with, you know, a few little followers that feel the same type of sentiments that they do. You know, when we see them, they don't see themselves this way. So yeah, you got to understand. But no, hey man, you know, you still the superhero. Maybe just not the mass appeal superhero. Or should I say masked appeal? So, oh wow. Oh Lord. You know, that's what it looks like when you swing up. But shout out to the little guy. Oh my goodness. Nikki the God. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Grand evening. Got the chief moderator in the house. Let's see, where are we going? Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going here next. We're going here next. What is Tattoo doing? You know, see, like I said, that's how we view it. In their minds, they don't see themselves that way. In their minds, they're telling themselves they're everything that they're not and everything that you probably are. And so that's virtually taking what you are, twisting it in their mind, and putting what you are and your persona on themselves and then selling that to someone else.
35 plus, and you still acting like you a super duper street nigga. That's because you wasn't no street nigga when you was in your 20s, man. You still trying to because if you was a street nigga when you was a teen and you was a street nigga when you in your 20s, by the time you hit 30, you ain't trying to be no street nigga, man. You trying to get some fucking money and get the fuck out the way, because if you was really in the streets by the time you 30, nigga, you done seen more niggas take that Escalade ride to heaven
at the meeting with God
than you could even count, nigga.
Yeah.
So by the time you 30, you done lost a shitload of niggas to gun violence, a shitload of niggas to jail, your aunts and your grandmothers to cancer and all kinds of shit. Man, you trying to get some fucking money and live life, man. You ain't out here 38 talking, ooh, I'm tough. Ooh, look at me. Ooh, I'm trying to prove myself. I'm a gangster. Ooh.
So what's even sad is watching the
Teach your man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
Woo! Man, I could really be doing a lot, but we are not. Oh, goodness. But just to add a little bit of insult to injury, just enjoy this real quick. We'll be right back.
It's that metal ride, but it's that funky side to it. You can bow your hands, you can stamp your feet, you can smile at everyone you see on the streets, cause this is it. It's Beatzilla, baby. It's a new year. We play the music back. In the street, they say you don't wanna hear this. You better go and tell them.
All right. So, oh boy, so many of us have done things before we have decided to come to the internet. And then some people decided to come to the internet and decided to figure out what they wanted to do. But do not understand the difference in the two. So, let's take a look at menthols. Yeah, we're going to get into this menthol cigarette conversation real quick. So if y'all have not heard, they are talking about banning menthol cigarettes. And of course, if y'all know that traditionally speaking, unfortunately, hating to sound like a stereotype, black folks tend to steer toward smoking menthol cigarettes. Unfortunate if you actually still smoke menthols. Hopefully you do not. Shalom, Aboriginal woman, welcome. So hopefully you're not. Hopefully you gave them up. But if not, in America they are looking to ban them. And now, of course, they say they wouldn't be criminalizing it. As the Red Witch, as I call her, the press secretary, there's something she says that as she's addressing this question from April Ryan, there's something that she says that just screams out someone's name to me. When we talk about no one's gonna have any trouble over illegal cigarettes. Doesn't that kind of sound familiar? Check this out.
Back to the opposition in the black community. Talked to Congresswoman Frederica Wilson today, and she said she's opposing it. She says the president should not only deal with menthol, but ban all. Instead of just menthol, she feels that it will cause a profiling issue. And she also says this is something that should not be dealt with in the midterms because it will split the black community. What do you say to that? And are you talking to Frederica Wilson, Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and others about this very issue?
Well, let me try to answer all your questions there. I'm sure you'll let me know if I don't, April, of course. This is a public health decision made by the FDA. And the objective of it was not to address politics or handle politics in one way or another, but to save lives. And the studies estimate that with menthol cigarettes, if they're no longer available, it could prevent over 650,000 deaths, including 238,000 African Americans. There are also high rates of use by children and young adults. Menthol also increases the appeal of cigarettes, makes them easier to use, especially for kids. And what we have seen, as you know, is decades of targeted marketing activities at the African American community to promote further purchasing and in many ways, and for many, addiction to these cigarettes. So this is not, but what I think is important for everybody to know and understand, including opponents, is this is not targeting individuals. This is not to give anybody license to arrest somebody who is smoking a cigarette, a menthol cigarette. This is going after the manufacturers of this. It is.
Well, wait a minute. That part has absolutely already taken place. Not to mention, you choked a man out. So now that they are legalizing weed, absolutely, Norma X, money for money. And here we go. Now all of a sudden, opioids are not, fentanyl is not being taken off the shelves. It's not being taken away. None of these other, thank you, Silent D, Eric Garner. And so she's up here talking about, oh no, it's not going to happen. These things have already taken place. Y'all choked out Eric Gardner for Lucy's suspected selling Lucy's menthol cigarettes. So if you go buy a pack of cigarettes and you're selling individual cigarettes for cigarette bums on the street, if anybody has ever worked in any metropolitan area, you know what a cigarette bum is. Even if you don't freaking smoke. You still walking, hey man, you got a cigarette? I don't smoke. Oh, sorry. Let's back that up a bit.
Anybody licensed to arrest somebody who is smoking a cigarette, a menthol cigarette. This is going after the manufacturers of this. It is going after those who are selling, because we have seen decades of marketing targeted activities at exactly these communities.
We have way too much free content over here at the Griot. Help us out.
Yeah, well, that's because you're not investing in the right contributors. But nonetheless, wow. So yeah, something else to worry about, especially in New York. I mean, I'm telling you, that's going to be the first testing ground of that one. Oh man, we got to get these loose because it's hurting kids. Man, let me tell you something, man. If y'all ain't paying attention to what is happening, they are circling the wagons and really trying to sell black folks the last hope of the Democrats being any kind of worth a damn. But right now, black folks, I think, as more polls are showing, are clearly getting tired. And these are people who generally have vote blue no matter who. And they're still getting tired of the Democrats, which it makes total sense. When you're seeing all of this money go to every other thing that is irrelevant, and then you're telling them, hey, man, we got to let these illegal immigrants in here. Not only that, we got to help these courageous Ukrainians. They got to come over here, and we got to give them billions of dollars. Well, first off, yeah, let me get into that part. Let's see how courageous these Ukrainians are real quick. Because here's something they're not fitting to show you on regular TV. But this is, for all intents and purposes, not banned. So until y'all can get an injection on that one, you can't take this one down. Check that out.
Так и пройдут.
Це капець, прям тільки що бахнуло, йоп твою мать. Диви, йоу.
Ебануться, блядь.
Блядь, нахуй, давай. Угу.
Сука, не открывается.
Давай.
All of that bravery over there. Boy, that bravery is just oozing all out of the pores on flee and surrender, isn't it? What is America really paying for? And here's another thing. Oh yeah, they keep talking about Ukrainians are winning. Here's something else though they're not really mentioning, but it is in the news. And I'm sure a lot of these people, because they wait to get their news from whoever. America is already depleting its war chest of weaponry. That ain't enough.
Almost exhausted what we call the fancy phrase, the drawdown authority that Congress authorized for Ukraine in a bipartisan spending bill last month. Basically, we're out of money. And so that's why today, in order to sustain Ukraine as it continues to fight, I'm sending Congress a supplemental budget request. It's going to keep weapons and ammunition flowing without interruption to the brave Ukrainian fighters and continue delivering economic and humanitarian assistance to the Ukrainian people. This so-called supplemental funding addresses the needs of the Ukrainian military during the critical weeks and months ahead. And it begins the transition to longer-term security assistance that's going to help Ukraine deter and continue to defend against Russian aggression. This assistance will provide even more artillery, armored vehicles, anti-armored systems, anti-air capabilities that have been used so effectively thus far in the battlefield by the Ukrainian warriors. You know, and it's going to deliver much-needed humanitarian assistance as well as food, water,
I'm done, right.
and other aid to Ukrainians displaced by Russia's war, and provide aid for those seeking refuge in other countries from Ukraine. It's also going to help schools and hospitals open. It's going to allow pensions and social support to be paid to the Ukrainian people so they have something.
Whew. Buginess, what's going on? Right, I'm done. Not our problem. This is not our war. This is not our problem. We should not be paying for any of this. I mean, because if you are paying taxes, your money's going to this. And I mean, shoot, I live in a state to where we don't pay sales tax. But I mean, we still got state tax. So a lot of y'all in some place where y'all pay both. Man, all of that. Because, you know, all of that state surplus, they going to got to kick upstairs too. Man, woo-wee, proxy war, Aboriginal woman. Absolutely. Yes, yes, indeed. Norma exit, pensions. Dark skin brother said, old devil. Silent D said, notice how Jim Crow Joe is showing no dementia when it comes to the Ukrainians. Man, for real. Judah Queen says, we have issues over here to focus on. F out of here. I know that's right. Oh, man. Oh, man. In the meantime, over here, they'll tell us, like, hey, man, you don't need to worry about getting that reparations based on lineage. You need to let everybody in, just like this.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
This man right here is your father? Right there?
Do you have a question about that?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I was wondering if your dad really is an African American man.
That's a very, I mean, I don't know what you're implying.
Are you African American?
I don't understand the question of, I did tell you that yes, that's my dad. And he was unable to come in January.
Are your parents, are they white?
And so the name of today's broadcast is Cinco de Hustle. Yes, Cinco de Hustle, using illegal immigration and Roe v. Wade to cause a distraction from the reparations agenda. You understand me? And oh yeah, absolutely, Judah Queen. Rachel Dolenzal is definitely still 100% pretending. Now, let's deal with this picture. What you have up here and the two women up here, those sisters right there are, let me see, I believe Ohio. Yeah, because that's Nina Turner's old district. Yeah, from Ohio. So yeah, let me see. Representative Chantel Brown of Ohio beats Nina Turner in Democratic primary. Rep- Representative Chantel Brown, Democrat of Ohio, won a rematch Tuesday against Nina Turner, a progressive activist and former state senator who is nationally known for her work with Senator Bernie Sanders. Brown was leading 65.3% to 34.7%. Let me see. With 62 precincts reporting at 11:01 p.m. Brown beat Turner by 5.5 percentage points. Crowded special primary last summer. Where's the Okay. in a uh, in a crowded special primary last summer, then the last easily won vacant seat in Ohio's overwhelmingly Democratic 11th congressional district in the general election. This is another hard-fought victory, Brown said in her remarks celebrating her victory Tuesday night. I'm going to continue showing up for you. So this is, now if y'all haven't been paying attention, Nina Turner has been going around endorsing random candidates lately. Her and AOC kind of co-signing each other. And then the rest of the Democrats, because remember, the squad got some enemies. So clearly, time for the squad is coming to an end. And one member just took a fall. So one down. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, there's nothing else with AOC and her crew. Nancy Pelosi done been up there. She's jerked her way to get to that position. She ain't just easily gonna give it up at you, wide-eyed, doughy-eyed scammers coming up there trying to get up on her scam. She's an old dog. She knows old tricks. I'm just saying. Samuel Logan says Senator Omar is soon to be next. Absolutely. I have no doubt about that. None. Something real quick. Where's that? I see some. Okay, we got that fixed. Let's go to, because we got to go revisit the whole Roe v. Wade and even the origins of Planned Parenthood. But first, let's address the Cinco Day hustle, which is, I don't know if y'all have known, this year is a record year in 22 years for illegal immigrants crossing the border. They keep calling them migrants. They're not really that. They're illegal immigrants. And if you're a migrant, then you coming in here in the proper way. And they keep trying to say, well, everybody got the same sob story. If we take everybody with the same sob story, pretty much we'll be in somebody else's country with the same sob story because all of their people are over here. Yeah, we go back, they're going to kill us. Man, this is the country of our mass incarceration. A few times over at that. In slavery and then by trade of business, while still building all of this wealth for all of these different groups. Miss us with your tears and cries. Deal with your problems at your own home and stop bringing your issues here and draining our resources. That should not be a hard thing to figure out. If you were trying to get on another planet and another planet saw you coming, they would blow your ship out of mid space. They wouldn't let you come near to landing on their rock. Because if they could have any idea what you do here, oh no, you guys are resource hogs. Nope. And the people that run that joint, nah, can't let that go down. So got to do something different. But check this out, man. This is crazy.
Surge of migrants arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border.
¿De dónde eres? Colombia.
Government data showing there were more than 220,000 encounters with migrants along the border last month, the highest number in 22 years. Texas Governor Greg Abbott blaming the White House for the surge.
So the Biden administration's open border policies have led to a record number of illegal immigrants crossing the border into the United States.
It comes as the Biden administration prepares to lift Title 42, a COVID-era immigration policy put in place in 2020.
It was an appropriate time from a public health point of view to lift the Title 42 restrictions.
The change would allow migrants to request asylum at ports of entry without a special exemption, which is currently required. It also gives detained migrants an opportunity to plead their case, ending immediate removals.
It is unprecedented and it's dangerous.
Governor Abbott opposing the change and even busing migrants to Washington, D.C. in an attempt to draw attention to the issue.
It's nice the state of Texas is helping them get to their final destination as they await in their outcome of their immigration proceedings.
The Texas governor going a step further, forcing Mexican officials to sign agreements promising to enforce Mexican immigration laws. Ending the state's commercial vehicle inspections at the border, a measure that already caused companies to lose millions while trucks were backed up for miles. Yet the challenge remains, with tens of thousands of migrants still making their way to the border.
Now, the latest surge of migrants is from Ukraine. When we were recently in Tijuana, we saw Ukrainians given a chance to request asylum with a special exemption due to the war. But migrants from non-European countries also fleeing violence say they have been ignored due to Title 42. Now, if it ends next month, migrants from all countries, from all over the world, will be allowed to request asylum, which would level the playing field and could increase the number of people allowed to make that request for asylum at the border. Willie?
All right.
All right. So, once again, for all of those who just, who voted for Biden, knowing that he was talking about, oh, you guys are going to have to get used to working with the Hispanics. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Great job. You made sure man, no way my future offspring's not going to be the permanent underclass of this country. Good going, douchebags. I mean, if you couldn't figure out any further way to go backwards. And well, they going through the same thing. No, they not. They're being used to even treat you even worse. When will you cut off the bleeding? Oh, and Shawana asked, actually, the Cinco de Mayo is actually their Independence Day, but well known, not so secret, is that their independence came by way of a black man, Vicente Guerrero. Now, if you go look him up, you will see that he is clearly a black man. And so, those white Hispanics, they're oh yeah, Cinco de Mayo, yeah. But, well, when you start having to give it up to the reason why you're celebrating, that black man, that Moreno, yeah. And then all of a sudden things are different. Have to calm it down a bit. Oh, well, yeah. Yes, of course, everybody knows that's peace. No, they don't. Because you guys do not broadcast that part of that history. So stop it. Always like, well, people know. No. But, everything as soon as it hits American soil, it's going to be a day for drinking. I mean, this is Heathenville. I mean, right now, these people are screaming mad over abortion. Let me see. So let me get to this. I mean, they over here ready to burn down Babylon because they can't go get to Planned Parenthood by Christmas.
The authorities have made record number of arrests. Over 200,000 migrants have been put behind bars. This is the highest monthly tally in 2 decades. Let's tell you why this happened. When Joe Biden was running for office, he wanted to reverse many of his predecessor Donald Trump's policies. One of them was hardline immigration law. But the rollback was with good intentions. It has backfired because many people that Biden's easing has prompted more illegal immigrations. Last month saw a 24% jump in arrests than the previous year. Thousands of children have been left unaccompanied in crowded border stations. Shelters are already overwhelmed. In the coming weeks, officials are preparing for as many as 18,000 migrants. The situation is only going to get worse. On the 23rd of May, U.S. is expected to end the pandemic-era border restrictions. Most migrants are from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. But recently, many from far-flung places like Ukraine are also knocking on the border gates. In 7 months, United States will hold its midterm elections, and Republicans are eyeing to gain control of the U.S. Congress. Experts say that immigration is expected to be one of their main weapons against Democrats. WeOn is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Narmek said, yeah, let's be honest, we do not know who those people are. No, we don't. No, we don't. Not a clue. And you talking about just bringing in all of these people in a place where you're saying was just in a pandemic. Now, of course, they're saying the pandemic's over. Then CNN still wants the pandemic, I guess, to still be going. I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? I haven't really been paying much attention to it. I'm just glad it's not in my feed every freaking day. The panic police. Make sure, are you guys panicked enough? Are you guys panicked enough? Man, y'all really believe that thing just came and went like that and it was ever that big of a deal in the first damn place? Okay. And I mean, man, war. A tool of war is media. Okay? And tools of the media, meaning your favorite celebrities. Yes, yours. Your hardest rappers that you probably would be surprised to find out what they were actually doing to become your favorite rapper. But I mean, that's neither here nor there either. But with that being said, this happened.
The fact that we've now essentially clinically tested the vaccine on billions of people worldwide.
Whoops.
Around 1 in 5 Americans is still willing to put themselves at risk and put their families at risk rather than get vaccinated.
You don't say.
People are dying because of misinformation.
Man, I'll say. So much misinformation out there. I mean, there is really a ton of misinformation out there. Oh, that's wrong. No, man, that was the wrong picture. I didn't mean to put that one up there at all. This is what I actually meant to put up on the screen. All right. See, and now we have the Joe Biden disinformation lady, who she's going to be I guess, able to shut you down or lock you up. Now they're going to downplay this disinformation thing, but just so funny that Obama's talking about disinformation and then all of a sudden this kook. Don't you look like? I mean, this woman is strange, man. Like she a glue sniffer. I mean, she's very very odd behavior. I mean, man, good grief. And then you got, of course, she's also the one notorious for, I guess, kind of making that Hunter Biden thing go away. So one hand washes the other sometimes, it seems to be. So again, we are in the Cinco Day hustle. That is the month we are in. Because again, we see them trying to use illegal immigration. And right now, the Roe v. Wade thing has just occurred. They are really, really, really trying to rope black folks' attention into their cause here. One of the things being, it's two. They're basically wrapping it all together, and then when you have this dude who's going at Dave Chappelle with a knife and a fake gun, you gotta wonder what's going on. Never forget though. And some people would say, we don't know that's necessarily true. And you're right. You don't. Because, we hear a lot of things out here, and sometimes certain things are hard to come by, meaning proof or receipts or something of the sort. So people can say, well, yeah, a lot of people say that Margaret Sanger was, she was a eugenicist or whatever. She was racist, but we don't really know. Well, for all of my furry, hooded, Ugg-wearing, baby fat jacket compadres out there, this one's for you.
December 10th, 1939. Dr. C.J. Gamble, 255 Adams Street, Milton, Massachusetts. Dear Dr. Gamble, it's good to know that you are recovering. I also am stepping up and have felt much better the past week. Miss Delp was here for Thanksgiving, and I am more than delighted to learn that she was able to get $250 from the California Birth Control Organization, plus the $600 from the Federation. That's good. She is a go-getter and a live wire, very tactful and charming as well. I think that my pick of her has been justified, even though she is a little higher priced than the ordinary. She has been working on the article to be written by Miriam DeFord, Mrs. Maynard Shipley. They were good enough to send me a rough draft for comments and suggestions, and the important suggestion that I made was not to include Miss Delp's actual name in the article, because of the fact that her sister is married to one of the high spots in the Farm Security Department, and if the enemy started to work on her name, they might make it difficult along the line. Otherwise, I think the article is good. As to my sending suggestions to the Federation, I think it is really unfair for me to do so. I am too far away to have the personal contact of the different reactions, and it only holds up any definite project to have the pros and cons battered about, which makes for more chaos and confusion. There is only one thing that I would like to be in touch with, and that is the Negro Project of the South, which, if the execution of the details remain in Miss Rose's hands, my suggestions will not be confusing because she knows the way my mind works. Miss Rose sent me a copy of your letter of December 5th, and I note that you doubt it worthwhile to employ a full-time Negro physician. It seems to me, from my experience, where I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means
COINTELPRO before there was COINTELPRO.
their ignorance, superstitions, and doubts. They do not do this with the white people, and if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, he can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. His work, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurses, hospital, social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training by us. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideals and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. I agree with you that Miss Rose has done a remarkable job in thinking through and planning the project, but she has worked on it for some time. As soon as I knew there was the possibility of getting any money, I put her at work drafting the plan for Mr. Lackner. She is excellent at just such a job. She hangs on to details, weaves, and correlates them into the design. I shall never cease to have the utmost admiration and regard for her ability, and so far I have not seen anyone in the Federation who could take her place. I am constantly delighted at the thought that you are getting better, and now we must pray for Mrs. Tim, who is seriously ill at the doctor's hospital in New York. My regards to your Sarah and to yourself. Sincerely yours, Margaret Sanger.
Well, you see what that is right off the rip. So, can't really say that it ain't what it ain't, or it ain't what it is, because you seen and heard for yourself. That's her letter to who you would now know as the company of Procter and Gamble. And that was Dr. Gamble she was writing to. So, understanding that the whole objective was eliminating the Negro, and then using black folks to push the narrative of whatever they were trying to sell to accomplish that. Sound familiar? It's no different than today. And just like to get us off of our square of voting. So they always roll one out and say, hey, we got to look at this, we got to look at that. And if you haven't noticed, in about the last 20, 30 years, majority, especially black male representatives in Congress and other pertinent places of government, are all black preachers or tied to it some kind of way, with the exception of this one. So this one being tied to more of the liberal side of the game, and she's kind of made her name on being a pro-choice advocate, because it's, of course, we know it's good business. Hey, man, that's when you're trying to accomplish the long-term game of the Negro Project. I guess this one is proud to have helped Margaret Sanger's objective right along. Admission out of her own mouth.
So this is a call to action. This is a 5-alarm fire, my friends. This is a time to act, and this is not the time to be silent, because silence is the enemy right now. So we've got to be angry, but we've got to take that action, take that emotion and turn it into action. Because right now, we stand at a critical juncture. We stand together on the front lines of one of the greatest fights that we will ever have. And my question to all of you is, are you with me? It's a fight that's going to take all of us to win. And I'm here to say, we will not go backward. We will not go back into those days when we used wire hangers. Not now, not ever. The right to control our bodies is a fundamental right enshrined in the 14th Amendment. And if they go after this right, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? That fundamental right is the reason why individuals can marry who they want. It's the reason why the members of the trans community can play games and can go to the bathroom of their choice. It's the reason why black and white and Latino and Asian people can marry in between their races. They can marry whoever they love. And it's the reason why members of the LGBT community have rights. And so it's important that all of us recognize this fundamental right, the 14th Amendment, that fundamental right. And so I will not allow Justice Alito or any other judge on the Supreme Court to dictate to me or to you how to use your body. I will not allow Justice Alito to dictate to me my future, my destiny. It is not in the hands of the United States Supreme Court. It's in our hands.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Let's see. So they clearly are going to be rolling out their black representatives to get this point across and push that certain narrative upon us, as we can clearly see. And it's ridiculous. It just is absolute ridiculous. Let me see. Let me go here and let's get a little bit of this in here. Let's see. What is this? Okay. Okay, so we're going to take a little flashback and we're going to do a shout out to the Queen Mother, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing.
Doctor, you are accused of having a theory that is a white racist theory. How do you respond to that?
Well, I respond to that by saying that I've considered whether or not I am a racist. Racist is an epithet that used to damage my self-esteem, but it doesn't anymore. I feel it's untrue. If you look in the dictionary as to what racist means, it means emotional feelings, irrational feelings associated with fear and hate. If I really had those, I don't think I would be here this evening. I feel that what I'm engaged in is a demand for diagnosis, and I'd like to say some more about this chart, which we'll come to probably later, which shows the disproportionate rates of reproduction for the least effective elements of the black community. I'd like to say more about that than we should in just this brief introduction. But I think there is another word that better describes what I'm involved in, and that word is raceology, which means a scientific analysis of racial differences. And basically, I have a faith that reason is a good thing, and I feel, as you do about the First Amendment, but maybe with a slightly different emphasis. I think the really important thing about the First Amendment is it is a way of guaranteeing a high likelihood that truth will emerge as a result of conflicting ideas being expressed, and I have a thesis and a basic belief that truth is a good thing and will be of benefit to man. But now let me say this chart that I held up a moment ago is very important in respect to this question of why I think there may be what proves a basic difference, but I'm going to say that if there were not a basic difference in intellectual capacity in the past, there probably will be a basic difference between black and white intellectual capacity in the future, simply because of the reproduction patterns. And these are Census Bureau data, and this is the most threatening aspect. And what it indicates is that for the black women of the lowest intellectual social class, which are rural farm women, generally the education is least, the average number of children is 5.4. For women with college degrees, it's 1.9. And so this is definitely unfavorable. It is reproducing far more at the bottom end and not enough to keep even at the top end.
Dr. Shockley, can
For
you
whites,
explain?
let me just finish this. For whites, the numbers are also in this direction, but nowhere nearly as severe.
Dr. Shockley, I think that in all fairness, you should explain to the audience why it is that you have, first of all, you have a very large segment of the black population who are on farms, who are deprived in cities. Why don't you explain at the time that you're showing this, who is keeping black people in a situation like they're in? I mean, it could be, you could turn it around the other way, where you could have very large numbers of black people who are exposed to educational opportunities like white people, who are exposed to housing, who are exposed to health facilities. Why don't you explain that at the same time that you put figures like that?
I'm sure you would explain it,
no, but I
Dr.
think
Welsing,
it's important
but
in answering.
one must say first things first. And you've raised the basic question there, and that is whether the disadvantages are primarily a lack of opportunity or whether they are primarily a basic genetic difference. And let me mention one thing, which is that in certain areas there is no doubt about black superiority. Blacks are superior in visual acuity, and they're superior in a systematic way. Now, I don't expect that people will understand the details of this, but I simply want to show that quantitative work can be done. This happens to be a research job of my own, and what it shows, because these points that you see here lie on a line, which is not the central line, but they lie systematically on a line. What it says is that so far as visual acuity is concerned, blacks are systematically better than whites. It's as if their bell-shaped curve, their distribution curve, were pushed upwards compared to whites for visual acuity, or at least for the avoidance of bad eyesight, such that if the same shift occurred for IQ, it would mean that the average IQ distribution would be up by 9 points rather than down by about 15 points, which is the typical average.
Yes, I was wondering if Dr. Shockley would explain the basic difference between the course he is taking in explaining white supremacy and the course that Hitler took during the Nazism reign.
Thank you.
Well, there are enormous differences. In fact, the lesson to be learned from Nazi history is frequently very misunderstood, and it is a lesson which Mr. Brown has told us about earlier. It's the First Amendment. It's not that eugenics is intolerable. Actually, the eugenic programs, which are the opposite of dysgenics, eugenic programs are not inconceivable. They're not inhumane. Denmark has been carrying out programs with strong eugenic implications for maybe 30 years. And it's important to note that since World War II, Denmark's per capita homicide rate dropped and is now approximately 1/20th. That is, the number of deaths of probability of being killed in a year by a violent homicide is roughly, the order of 100 times less for young Danes than it is for young American blacks. Now, but the lesson, let me say what the lesson of Nazi history we have in this country, and it will protect us. It's just the thing that makes this program possible. The First Amendment, which allows freedom of speech. If one believes that is not the right answer, then one has to be one of the most anti-German racists there can be. If one believes that the German people would have tolerated the concentration camps and the gas chambers, if news media, like the programs that Mr. Brown is setting on, if those people were willing to bring discordant views out into the open, I don't believe the concentration camps and the gas chambers could have continued to exist in Germany.
I would like to ask a question, and Dr. Shockley, if you could answer it yes or no, I would appreciate it. Do you believe that black people are inferior in intelligence because of their heredity?
I have a standard statement. It is not yes or no. It's memorized. I say at the same time every time I think. What I say is this. My research leads me, and it's a tragic conclusion really, my research leads me inescapably to the opinion that the major cause of the American Negro's intellectual and social deficits is hereditary and racially genetic in origin, and thus not remediable to a major degree by practical improvements in environment.
All right, if you believe that the position relatively of black Americans to white Americans is based on a genetic inferiority, and I will accept the responsibility for that word, then what do you see as the solution to the problem?
Well, I see the first aspect of this is to prevent the problem from becoming worse by dysgenics. This first word
Would
that
you
I
translate
mentioned.
dysgenics for me and the audience? Would that be sterilization?
No. Dysgenics, you see, means what that other chart I showed you says.
Should blacks,
the least effective element.
Should blacks be sterilized?
No. I have a...
but if blacks are a problem and we do not allow...
This is inhumane. And
Dr.
I think one can find more humane solutions to this.
Well, then how would... Then
I would propose something in which one of the key phrases, is regardless of sex, race, or welfare status. And this is the proposal. I call it a thinking exercise. It's mentioned in that pamphlet that I showed that you can obtain. And it goes this way, that you would offer a bonus to everyone to be sterilized. Now, we know we have a population explosion problem. We know that in India, that bonuses in the form of transistor radios are offered to people.
Would this bonus be directed to black people specifically, more than whites?
Mr. Brown, what did I say just a moment ago? I said, regardless of sex, race, or welfare status.
Now, there is a group,
that's what I say.
There is a group of white people to whom this offer should be made also.
Absolutely.
Now,
the offer is based upon the best estimates, best scientific estimates that one can have of any genetically carried disabilities.
More functional skin pigment cells in the animal kingdom, the higher you are on the scale of phylogenetic ascension. In other words, nature in the course of evolution went to its highest state when it produced a cell that could produce pigment, and that we were sliding backwards. The mutation to albinism is a step backwards in the scale of evolution. Are you aware of that, Dr. Shockley?
No, I'm not aware of that particular one. I am aware of another basic genetic difference, and that is that the rate of maturation of a neurological system gets longer and longer the more advanced the animal is. And that is one of the items on the racial difference, that the neurological development of blacks is faster than whites. Black babies walk on the average a month earlier than white babies. And the period of
black
gestation...
people are much more creative also.
Mugina said the audacity. Absolutely. Now, understand what we're looking at here. When he asked the question, well, what do you propose we do about that? You talking about dysgenics. Now, fast forward to today. Here we are, we're talking about illegal immigration. So we don't even look like We're not even talking about a certain like model type of population anymore. Mainly because their numbers are dwindling. Again, shout out Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who also was making a point that their whole agenda against us and target for us, for, of course, annihilation. One of these things orchestrated by this woman, Margaret Sanger. You know, when you have these people orchestrating our future genocide, they have a long term plan set up. You have Gloria Steinem, Bill Gates Sr. Fast forward to employing Gloria Steinem and bell hooks. These people here have a very solid together plan. And we have to be very mindful of the plan that we are fighting up against. Because as we see, this is their get down. This is their get down, 1,000%. And I hope everybody understands. So we are going to keep it moving because, again, let's talk about the whole Roe v. Wade situation. So we see, wait. No, let's just even be even clear on Miss Margaret Sanger here. Yeah, let me play this for you real quick so y'all can hear her for yourselves. And if y'all are new to this broadcast, I played this maybe early in episodes of this broadcast, but we will revisit it real quick so y'all can hear her speak for yourself. This is Margaret Sanger.
Planned Parenthood Federation maintains that European women should stop having babies for the next 10 years.
Don't you think such a theory, such a radical theory, is antisocial?
On the contrary, it seems to me that it is more practical and humane.
What about the women who want babies now and in 10 years will not be able to have babies? Rather impractical, don't you think?
Oh, John, you do ask hard questions. I should think that instead of being impractical, it is really very practical and intelligent and humane.
But Mrs. Slee, in this country, having babies is the only thing left which is both unrationed and untaxed. Do you think we really ought to stop?
Well, I suppose a subject like that is really so personal that it's entirely up to the parents to decide. But from my view, I believe that there should be no more babies.
Now, if she felt that way about European women, what does she feel about black folk? Just putting things in perspective. You know? Yep. And a lot of y'all are out here screaming for this. Well, so let's play this first. Let's see. I think which one do I want to go for? You know what we'll do? Let's go to Elizabeth Warren's reaction of the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
I am angry. Angry and upset? Angry and upset and determined. The United States Congress can keep Roe versus Wade the law of the land. They just need to do it.
I've never seen you so angry. You seem to be...
This is what the Republicans have been working toward this day for decades. They have been out there plotting, carefully cultivating these Supreme Court justices so they could have a majority on the bench who would accomplish something that the majority of Americans do not want. 69% of people across this country, red states and blue states, old people and young people, want Roe versus Wade to maintain as the law of the land. We need to do that, and we have a right. Extremists, we've heard enough from the extremists, and we're tired of it. Thank you.
Senator, does this open the door for other constitutional rights?
She's upset, ain't she? I mean, she real upset. Aboriginal woman, I could not disagree. I absolutely cannot disagree. You were probably on to something. Now, with that being said, you know how they like doing it. You got to be clear. You said another devil? One who cares? Well, let's check out the origins of the Roe v. Wade situation. And check this out.
Jane Roe's story was a terrible one. She said she had been gang raped, gotten pregnant, was desperate to get an abortion. That's what everyone believed as long as Jane Roe remained anonymous. When she went public, she told a different story.
You were raped while you were in Georgia?
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so all those stories that are in the books and so forth are not true?
Yes, sir. Yes.
They're not true.
Right.
And it turned out that lying wasn't the only embarrassment this darling of the pro-choice forces presented. In her personal treatise published last year, Norma McCorvey told the story of her somewhat sordid life. Then she still adamantly supported abortion. Now she adds that to the list of sins she took with her into the baptismal pool.
I've cheated people out of money. I've sold drugs. I was an abusive alcoholic for many years. I've done a lot against his teachings. But I think the far greater sin that I did was to be the plaintiff in Roe versus Wade.
Well, so if you're not clear, you got Roe v. Wade based on a lie to begin with. Imagine that. They always be claiming drugs or alcohol. I know that's right, don't they? For real. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. But now they are pushing the envelope even further. It's so interesting how quickly they can get a reaction on such an issue like an abortion draws up so quick. There's no study needed. And if this is a fruit of a poisonous tree type of situation, then this isn't that legal? I mean, so they're acting, they got all of these people on here. Well, truth be told, they got people on there to be honest about the situation. Honest about the situation. And the situation is, you got a law passed based on falsehood. That's why they keep talking about presidents, and then the legal presidents, and the legal presidents, and the legal. Yeah, because you know its origin is dirty. And you want that to stay on the highest level of the court of the land? Nah, they can't do that. And they shouldn't have been doing that all of this time if that's the case. You know, not saying, I mean, if you're gonna get a law passed, get it passed based on the right thing. But this is getting a law passed based on a lie. And then this lie has morphed into an industry of death. So what I find so ironically strange in a place to where they say everybody is free to live and love who they love, that very same place will go damn near go to war over not being able to end life. Again, if there were any ships out there or any like I said, other worlds, and they saw this planet's people on its way trying to reach another world, and they blow that ship out of freaking space. So you ain't never gonna get back to them and tell them that this is here. Oh no. You know how all these places where they seem to subsequently go and never return? Maybe they discover something like, oh, y'all, nope. We're going to get y'all out to pay right now. Oh man! So check this out. This is how, just an example of the trigger city, which I find that a like trigger city. Why is it trigger? Something else that I think of when you think of trigger sounds like a hitman. Trigger city. Somewhere where you can go legally go get the hitman. Who worded this?
Exploded nationwide following the release of the draft opinion saying the Supreme Court is poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. Several states have plans in effect to ban abortion once the decision is released. Others are strengthening their protection of reproductive rights.
Let's bring in Amber Phillips for more on this. She's a staff writer for the Washington Post's The Fix. Amber, welcome. Great to have you with us. First off, what exactly are these trigger laws and how do they work?
Yeah, I think they're exactly what they sound like, and what they are laws that many years ago, usually lawmakers and especially conservative states have put on the books saying, okay, if the Supreme Court ever overturned Roe v. Wade, of course, that's the only federal protection for abortion we have in America. If they ever overturned it, abortion would be banned or nearly almost banned in our state immediately. They would go into effect when this happened. At the time, you know, some of these laws go back as far as 15 years. Some of them picked up steam when the Trump administration was appointing justices that President Trump said he wanted to oppose abortion rights. So at the time, a lot of these conservative lawmakers were using these trigger laws as an example to show their base that they were fighting against abortion protections. They were fighting to end abortion without, I think, thinking about this happening one day. And now here we are, and as many, like you said, more than a dozen states, almost immediately, if the Supreme Court rules in June or July that Roe v. Wade is unconstitutional, abortion could be banned without legislatures having to reconvene and debate all this stuff again.
Tanya, as you know, there are at least 10 states without these trigger laws that have other kinds of abortion restrictions in place. So what would overturning Roe v. Wade mean for those states?
Yeah, it's a mix. And so when you put it all together, what it means is about half of America pretty soon after, if the Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, abortion could be very difficult to obtain, if not outright banned. So in 10 of these states have perhaps a 6-week ban, like the one that Texas passed in September and has been hanging on despite legal challenges. Other states might have a 15-week ban. And like Florida just passed one of those, and still other states might limit their exceptions for abortion. I'm seeing an increasing trend in red states of pushing abortion laws that don't allow for exceptions for rape or incest, for example, or if the fetus has an abnormality.
So, Amber, what are we seeing then happening in the more democratic states, right? How are Democratic leaders there?
Notice how she says that, but she doesn't actually point out specifically where. So I'm just going to assume that that's not true. Because they're like doing that. Oh, yeah, it's like this. So they throw out loose stuff all the time that ain't true. If she actually knew somebody was not going to a particular state or city was not going to make an exception for rape or incest, do you think she would have hesitated ever mentioning who that was? So, nah, I'm calling cap. I'm calling cap.
They're shoring up abortion rights in their states, or, abortion access rights in their states?
I think that's a smart question to ask, because what a post-Roe landscape looks like in America is it depends on what politicians rule your state. It looks, if you look at maps and you put together where these trigger laws are in place versus where Democratic states might try to expand abortion protections, it's completely divided, with the South and Midwest restricting abortion, and then the coast generally trying to expand it. What happens in these Democratic states? Democrats are still trying to figure that out. They have been much slower over the years to push legislation protecting and expanding abortion rights, whereas, as we've seen, Republicans have been on the mark for the past 15 years, putting in place trigger laws and trying to test Roe v. Wade through several court decisions. So I don't necessarily know what that would look like for Democratic states. They could give more money to clinics, which I've heard some from people say clinics, say on the border in New Mexico next to Texas, are completely overwhelmed. They've turned waiting rooms into places to see patients. So they could try to boost up clinics. They could try to ensure that you can receive mailed abortion pills. They could do any number of things, but I don't think Democrats in these states have coalesced around.
Wait, what the hell she just say? Did she say male abortion pills? What is a male abortion pill? That doesn't sound right. Well, male abortion pill? Huh? Yeah, any male out there, I would advise you not to take that, buddy. I don't know. That doesn't even sound right. A man can't have a baby, so you could not have an abortion. So I wouldn't take it if I were. Yeah. Basically, just off the mills. Right, Silent D. Yeah, let me hear that again. Yeah, let me hear that again.
Clinics, they could try to ensure that you can receive mailed abortion pills. They could do any number of things, but I don't think Democrats in these states have.
In the mail. Okay. We talking mailed. All right. Mailed. U.S. Postal Service. All right. Got it.
Coalesced around specific legislation.
All right. Amber Phillips, thank you for the insight.
Thank you.
Lord, I was fitting to say. Yeah, I mean, but you know that what that say? We are in such a crazy time that when you hear something like that, it's like, I got to hear that again. What that mean? Because you can't really discount that nowadays. Ain't that a damn shame? Boy, we in a world of confusion too, ain't we? And just think about that. We actually have to wait, what did they say? with that. Like, we don't even think male. Damn. There's an effect. Now, no child should have nothing put on them like that. If me as an adult didn't consider the U.S. Postal Service before, and that me mishearing something versus saying, oh, you talking gender. That's noticeable. Say what? Bagheera said, say what? Now, I may be gay, but I ain't taking no pill. Man, I mean, yeah, what the hell would that be doing? That sounds like blowing something up from the inside, man. That ain't, there's nothing about that that sounds cool. Right. That Samuel, like my mind got to one. Well, what the hell? But see, that's what I'm saying, man. We are in such a ball of confusion where nothing is what it is anymore. Everything is what it used to be yesterday is called something else today. Although it's still the same thing as it was yesterday, but we're calling it something different today. Like, but I'm not buying into that, so I'm not going to start calling my wife a birthing person. All right, you know that's. I seen something else talking about women, folks. Call them folks. Get out of here. No, they're not folks. They're women. Weird. I mean, this is where this analogy and truth be told, a lot of this fantastical BS comes out of the mind of these weirdy, nerdy, weirdo white dudes. And then they can go put on the dress, hop in front of you and be like, don't you hold me back. In the meanwhile, be just as racist as all get out. But if somebody say, hey, you know, hey man, what you doing ain't cool. You looking a little funny. So, oh, I can't be racist. I'm gay. Do you know I've heard that before? Let me tell you something. Well, now I know that you were hiding behind that lie. But, you know, again, we are in a scenario to where the promotion of white men is gung-ho, and black women are missing at an alarming rate. If you haven't seen the broadcast I did last Friday, I spoke on a few, and then Queen Amadai Shakur just did one. I believe it was Monday. On, and she did a more in-depth broadcast on these missing sisters. And I mean, man, yo, something is going on, man. Something is going on. That's what I was looking for. And you know, they're looking to start a different culture. And truth be told, I don't see it as it being about from a sexual nature as much as it is a confusion nature. Because let me tell you something, man. This cat right here is absolutely freaking confusing.
A second grade teacher at Marcia P. Johnson Elementary School. I am Miss Wilcox, and I am a second grade teacher at Marcia P. Johnson Elementary School in Berkeley, California, and I had a really upsetting experience today. Today I heard one of my students, his name was Kyle, go figure, say to another student, "Oh, I love that Miss Wilcox. She's so funny." She? I had to take Kyle aside and calmly explain to him, "Kyle, don't you remember when Miss Wilcox sent out the memo to all students last week that her pronouns had changed to they, them?" And then Kyle said, But Miss Wilcox, you're a Ukrainian trans lesbian. Don't you go by she, her? And at this point, I'm trying my best to keep my patience and not, a kid, So I had to very calmly say, okay, Kyle, the reason I changed my pronouns to they, them was to represent more intersectionality. And then Kyle said, what's intersectionality? And then I was like, I can't with this kid. I was so tempted to just, so I just had to walk away at that point. But tomorrow, Kyle is going to get a lesson on intersectionality along with a pop quiz.
Now, again, just like I was saying. Now, we going to say that this person's in their right mind, man. But if I say that this person is looking a little strange to me, it'll be chalked up there. I don't like them because of their sexuality. Say what? Sexuality? Nah, man. No. No, this is a weird MF right here. This has nothing to do with this person's sexuality. And on top of that, anybody who thought that makeup scheme, man or woman, I ain't gonna put them around my children. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. And I better not walk in no school and see no woman looking like that. Because truth be told, like I said before my broadcast, ladies, if you had a coworker who walked into your office looking like that, would you feel comfortable? Or would you feel that AR-15 is not too far from your future? I mean, man, you see a coworker show up to your job like that. What y'all finna do? He said just from the face, this dude is probably 6'2" to 6'7". Right. I used to hoop. I used to be the starting center back in high school. Oh, trans lesbian bad makeup artist? We might want to add trans clown. Because don't this cat look like Joaquin Phoenix from the Joker? With a tear? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Lord. Boy, that's a rough one. That's a rough one. Oh, Lord. Boy, they'll put anything on Negroes, won't they? Hey, y'all, take this. Now, like I said, in all seriousness, ladies, we have to understand what we're dealing with out here. Some of these situations are absolutely not cool. So you got to be careful. And Sugar Jones, I see you. I see you in the house. Always remember, for those who've been with me long enough, you will remember I'm probably one of the first people talking about how black women are being targeted for their uteruses for these transplants. And when I first actually started posting stuff about that, people were telling me, because I don't know, I'm assuming these people have come from think tanks, so they have agendas, and then they have their little minions out here online to make sure the message goes forth because they pay good money for it. So here's what y'all are kind of dealing with, sisters, and I hope y'all pay attention good.
Want to hear it? Yes. Horrible. 159. So scary.
Row. Rowing.
Oh, no bad news. Oh, my pregnant husband. Yes. Yep. Denise Soul. CH464. Oh, yellow cat. What the F is going on? Mm. Madness. Madness. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. So, again, let's take one more look into how they're trying to portray Margaret Sanger. Because, see, this is a twofold thing. And what you saw how upset Elizabeth Warren was. That old woman ain't about to get no abortion. What's she so upset at? I'll tell you why. Because, see, when they see things like that happening, that means that the power structure is looking at shifting. And basically, they're doing a fire sale. So everything that was coming down the pike for some of these special interest groups, if you will take notice to them being extremely nervous right now. That's one of my screens just did something real weird. That was crazy. Okay, let me back in there. So let's check this out.
Must confront the background of founder Margaret Sanger and her ties to both white supremacy and eugenics. In an opinion piece in the New York Times over the weekend, Alexis McGill Johnson said Sanger will remain influential in the organization, but added, quote, "As we tell the history of Planned Parenthood's founding, we must fully take responsibility for the harm that Sanger caused to generations of people with disabilities and Black, Latino, Asian American, and Indigenous people." Joining us now is Reverend Dean Nelson, Executive Director of Human Coalition Action. Reverend Nelson, welcome back. Great to see you. First off, what was your reaction when you read that article? What did you think? And its admission by the head of Planned Parenthood.
You know, on the one hand, I was shocked because for decades, many pro-life leaders have been decrying the eugenic practices of its founder, Margaret Sanger. But I was happy to see that they acknowledged the reality of what their history is. But at the same time, I know quite honestly that the real problem is you cannot acknowledge that history without also acknowledging the fact that Planned Parenthood strategically has placed 80% of their surgical abortion facilities in minority communities.
Yeah, and I know that you've been quite vocal about Margaret Sanger, as you mentioned, many pro-life organizations as well. What role do you think that played, if any, in getting Planned Parenthood to come to grips, so to speak, with their founder's history? And why do you think they spoke up now?
You know, that's a great question. I do believe that the effort that we did last year with over 120 Black leaders signing on to a document calling for Planned Parenthood to deal with its racist past I'm not certain why right now. I know that there's continued pressure within this, Black Lives Matter, moment in America. So I believe that there's a lot of pressure that they're receiving. But the reality is that Planned Parenthood, it should not continue to operate as they have. Their name suggests that they parent, but they don't empower women to parent. What they do is they sell abortions, and we want to help those around the country to know that there are better alternatives, like what we do at Human Coalition by providing free services to women who find themselves in this difficult situation.
And Reverend, for those who may not be all that familiar, can you talk a little bit more about Margaret Sanger?
Sure. Many people may not know, at the beginning of the 1900s, Margaret Sanger began to open up birth control facilities, particularly in New York City. As the organization would grow, it would become, the name of it would ultimately become Planned Parenthood. Some people are unaware that in 1939, she wrote a letter to Clarence Gamble of the Procter and Gamble fortune, stating that we don't want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And she would use a strategy that they would refer to as the Negro Project, where they would appeal to Blacks through ministers to try to help encourage them to reduce their numbers. And so what we're trying to do is to bring light to the fact that Planned Parenthood is the largest abortion provider in the country. And while nationally abortion numbers continue to decrease, Planned Parenthood's abortion numbers continue to increase because it's part of their business model. And Margaret Sanger is the founder of this organization.
And Reverend, what's next for the pro-life movement to raise even more awareness about Planned Parenthood?
Yeah, what we are working on in cities across the country with other pro-life organizations is not just decrying the real truth about Planned Parenthood, but also elevating solutions. In the state of Texas, for instance, we are pushing legislation like EMMA, which is Every Mother Matters Act, and we would love to see these type of alternatives that are embraced by Republicans and by Democrats in certain states to really provide real solutions. 75% of the women that we engage with say that they would choose life if their circumstances were different. And so we're trying to elevate legislation and ideas that provide real alternatives for women, and that's what Human Coalition does day in and day out with over 100,000 women that we will engage each year.
Reverend, we have probably about 30 seconds left, not a whole lot of time, but wondering if you have any final thoughts or anything that you feel is important for our viewers to know.
We just want them to remember that Planned Parenthood is not an organization that is focused on parenting. They don't empower women to do that. What they do is they sell abortions, and we want to encourage people of all goodwill and faith to help us to get that message out, whether it's in Black, Latino, or white communities, that there are other alternatives for women who are facing these difficult challenges of abortion. And so we want people to recognize that, and they can feel free to visit us at Human Coalition's website to find out more information.
Reverend, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for what you do. We appreciate it. Reverend D. Nelson, Executive Director of Human Coalition Action. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Well, yes, indeed. This place is wicked as all get out. Wicked as all get out. And unfortunate, but see, here's the thing. This is Cinco de Hustle. And we got to get these people up off our backs because these people have rode our coattails for far too long and use us as absolute mules for everything about everyone else's agenda except for our own. With that being said, remember, we have no friends out here at all. And when we have no friends, we have to listen to the people who advocate for us. If you don't, you run the risk of having no advocates. Shout out to Professor Black Truth, because that is so very, very true. You can definitely run the risk of having no advocates if you do not support your advocates. And one way of support is not always financial, but by spreading that message. You know what I mean? So let me see. There's one thing I need. Let's see, where is that at? Bear with me 1 second. Looking for something. Of course, right now it ain't gonna show. Let's see. Just bear with me. You know what? There is some. There we go. How did that just happen? Okay, bear with me 1 second. Okay, getting this in here in the studio. Something I want y'all to look at real quick. Remember just last year? Just last year, it was like this. And all of these other news entities and political figures were telling us about how we should just trust this and trust that. No problem here, right? Well, now that they're saying Roe v. Wade is going to be overturned, look at the reaction of what's going on with these folks. They are absolutely not taking it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really surprised. Let me see if I can get this in here. Hold on, let me get this in here first. Down here. Where you at? Where you at? There we go. Okay, for some reason, it is not letting me upload this video. Hopefully, I can do it from here. Let's see. So I knew there was a video on this, and I'm going to play for y'all. There's one. Now, another thing that they were saying with Margaret Sanger is about how she's I see you got somebody got timed out. I don't know what happened. You getting too preachy? Let's see. So check this out.
So if you happen to be just passing by, stop in at the Saturday night fish fry. It was rocking. It was rocking. You never seen such stuffing and shuffling till the break of dawn. It was rocking. It was rocking. You never.
All right. So. Say what? So you're confused about his comments? Oh. No, I see what he said. No, he's no, he's good. No, dark skinned brother's good. Yeah, he's good. No, I understood what he said. Totally understood what he said. No, he's good. He's good. Man, write this video downloading. This was one of the important ones of the night. Of course. Man, that's crazy. Okay. Well, I'm gonna see if I can get that in here before we go. But in the meantime, also here is to what dark skinned brother was just saying. Because I definitely planned on playing this tonight as well. Here's an old piece. Well, actually, first I'm gonna play this, and then I'm gonna play the second one. So first, we are going to revisit Brother Malcolm.
Being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
I would agree that no doubt there have been a large number of whites who have posed as liberals and as friends of the Negro and who have time and again betrayed the Negro. On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights, for equality, and have got little or nothing out of it, other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay. I'll be more specific. I would cite Herbert Hill, for example, as a kind of person who has championed Negro job rights, for example, in New York City and elsewhere. He has fought the political machine.
First time I met Herbert Hill personally was when they were picketing to stop the working on the Harlem Hospital in Harlem. Negroes for 10 years had to fight the city to get an annex built on the Harlem Hospital. Because in Harlem, we need a hospital more so than anything else. Our people are sick. Plus, we do a lot of cutting and shooting of each other, though we profess to be nonviolent. And Herbert Hill brought his forces out and stopped the working on that site. This is the first time I ever saw him. Then, when work was brought to a halt on a hospital in Harlem, the same Negroes tried to stop the work at the Downstate Medical Center in Brooklyn, which is predominantly white. They were out there for 3 months during the summer. Couldn't stop anything. And I never saw Herbert Hill out there one time. Now, whenever it takes a stoppage of something that's going to affect the white man, you find the white liberal absent. But when it involves something that primarily will affect the best interests of black people and black people only, then that white liberal is present. Herbert Hill is the labor secretary for the NAACP. And if he was interested in black people, he would prepare a black man with the type of knowledge and understanding of the labor troubles involving black people that would enable a black man to sit in the same position as Secretary of Labor or Labor Secretary in the NAACP. I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who really have the interest of blacks at heart Let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes.
Well, I would defend his sincerity and his commitment. And more than that, I would say that just because a person is a Negro or a black American does not mean that he's going to struggle for Negro rights or for jobs for Negroes or anything else. I think that today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not.
And just like the thing I just played for you, we are familiar with the consistent betrayer, aren't we? You know, one fish fry Clyburn, which matter of fact has a little thing going this weekend, a fish fry going this weekend. So it's been requested that the family show up, and was it black hats and black caps? If you go to I know I have it on my Twitter. Sure, if you go to Professional Black Truth's Twitter, so if any of y'all can make it out there, by all means do, because we need to get that cat up out of office ASAP, and replace him with somebody that actually has something of value to give. I believe this is this is just a short Marcel Dixon clip right here. I'm pretty sure. Bear with me.
Black America. While we celebrate symbolism of having a black woman in the White House and a black woman in the Supreme Court, right now as we speak, black women are the most likely to lose their house. Black men have the shortest lives, black children have the highest suicide rate, and even though we are around 15 to 20% of the population, we are over 55% of those living in the streets. We are going to be third-class citizens in the nation we built. We better wake up and vote for real policy. Vote for Greg Marcel Dixon. Repair Black America to fix America.
All right. Let's see. You know, for some reason, there is one video that will not load, and I have no idea why not. Let's see if I can find it here. You know, it never fails. Okay, well, let's see if I can get this to download. Okay, we see it here.
Representative, you probably think the Democrats will help.
All right, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can get it in here. Okay, let me try that. Let's see if we can get that up in here. So, Samuel Logan. There we go. I don't know what was going on with this. It's crazy. All right. Yeah, I wanted to play this clip because this is important. Because this is one of the ways that they always use against us. They always use the appeal to our women. But, sisters, take a listen.
Representative, you probably think the Democrats will help us, but I know that 100% of you know the Republicans will not help us. And some of you who have gotten a little bit angry with the brothers and forgotten who your sisters are and forgotten to look in the mirror, you may even think that white feminists like Gloria Allred, Denise Brown, and Madeleine Albright will help us. But you know those women are not going to help us even if they could. Did they help us when their husbands raped us on the plantations? Did they help us when their husbands brought domestic violence against us on the plantations? See, this is what a lot of people do not look at. Those women are out for themselves, and we'll get into them also a little bit later. So only the black man and only the black woman are the ones who will save black people, and we should stop depending upon anyone else. Let me show you some of the things we're facing. White folks were surprised to see the racial polarization that took place after that.
And we was going to say after that Million Man March. And, you know, some people have, again, even all of the elders at that time had their own feelings, some positive, some negative. You know, that's neither here nor there. Like all of our master teachers and our master scholars, they didn't all agree. And they most definitely didn't all get along. But one thing is for certain, they all have served their purpose to a greater end, especially for our cause today. Black Mama, hey. Donald O'Neill, you said, who is this woman? Oh, my Lord. If her and her husband is the author of the book Black Think Tank. I'm sorry her name is escaping me right now. She recently passed. I believe she passed in 2019, and I think her husband passed somewhere around 14 or 16. But her and her husband are the authors of the book The Black Think Tank. So, understanding something. Oh, another thing that DJ Seguan, welcome. Be on the lookout for a few of these DNC individuals, because one of them, which I shook off of this broadcast some months back, has now been making videos and has exposed themselves also for being part of the DNC. So when I saw them doing what they were doing early, that's why I had to boot them out of here. I had to boot them out when I was moderating for Julia Hare. Thank you, Silent D. That is it. Her name is Julia Hare, Dr. Julia Hare. T. Clay, welcome. So yeah, we had to get her up out the paint. And now she's doing videos. And she's still looking pretty crazy. Not sure what she's, because these DNC affiliated people be strange, man. They often are very strange. Got this weird, hey, but woo, got this real weird energy, man. It's kind of hard to explain, but yikes. Dr. Nathan and Julia Hare. Thank you, Tia, to you. Thank you so much. See, that's a good thing. We got all of these folks that have came before us, given us good, solid understanding. And again, what we need to do is learn how to decipher from all the things that were good and all the things that were bad. Something that came to mind to me earlier was this. And this is one of the things where I believe if Dr. Martin Luther King were alive today, he would probably correct. Now, I've always been under the impression that he wasn't completely the writer of the I Have a Dream speech. And the one thing that I definitely have issue with, and it dawned on me today earlier, something that bothers me, and I really would have to believe that this he didn't write, because I can't see how a perpetual enemy would now, you having still been under this enemy, to have wished for your children's future to be hand in hand with your enemy's children. How has that worked for the 400 prior years? See, this is one of the things that generation made a mistake about. They were definitely gung-ho on integration, and integration to a certain degree, well, see, again, our interpretation of integration is not really legitimately that. We as black folks deal with invasions. We don't integrate because we're never ever on the same playing field financially with any other group. They can come here from nothing. They're dirt poor where they're coming here getting established on taxpayer dollars. While black folks are still floundering. Now you got black folks out here jumping up and down. Hey, black folks, let's get back on the Democrat plantation because we need y'all to get on this Roe v. Wade thing. Well, no. The black agenda, the new black media has been beating the drum and will continue to beat the drum. Our issues are not Roe v. Wade. Our issues are not climate control. Our issues are not sexuality. Our issues are justice and reparations. Punishment for those police. Corrective justice for all the targeting that this government has done against us. Tax exemption. Total payment. Perpetual annuity payments. See, right now there's a legislation going on here in Oregon that actually is kind of being pretty quiet. But, there is a reparations bill here in my state as well that one Mr. Lou Fredericks has penned. And if you don't know who he is the godson of Dr. Martin Luther King. So, fast forward to that. It's practical. It's obtainable. And it's actually tangible. What we need to learn how to do is to get our traitors up out of the mix and all the people who cannot understand the order of the day in the conversation. Here at the Beatzilla PDX official show and the new voices of new black media, we are about the business of empowerment. So, I understand there could be a lot of debates that one could say, hey, come debate me about this or that. If you're a learned individual about what you were saying you want to debate about, then I can review your content that you already have available to see if I could enter that on a playing field to where it is a debate, or I can enter that playing field to where it's a lopsided conversation and we have two different energies hitting the stage. That is not business for me. I can see how that probably would help the lesser individual in that cause. Does nothing for me. I guess one of the things they say, when you want certain things, you have to first get your weight up. And in this regard, put some time in. There's a lot of the new people who I'm going to get rich overnight because I'll catch lightning in a bottle. Unfortunately, in the empowerment spot, that's a slow and steady go. The clout line is the heavy line where everybody's at trying to get on and speak over each other. No, this is here where you just say your message and either it resonates with them or it does not. At the end of the day, no one will come to my rescue for my message because it's mine. I have to first own those words now, don't I? So with that being said, I would only really be debating, like Dr. John Heinrich Clark has said, I'm only going to debate equals. All others you can get taught. That's why some that are actually asking for debates watch me. You know, it is what that is. What's going on with Ellie Ray? So when you have situations like these random people that could try to get attention from a lot of different people, something I noticed and something I saw today. You have one person to whom no one knows other than Twitter Space, literally going at people with followings. I can tell anyone that is around an individual like that who's thinking like that has never learned one key principle of business. You are only worth your net worth. So if you're an expert at burning bridges, then I know your business game sucks because your relationships are piss poor. And then when you have mishaps and issues in relationships, do they get corrected or are they just allowed to just sit there and I don't have to? Okay. I'm only talking to people who can deal with accountability in what they say or what they do. If we get to a point in conversation to where I hear, oh, well, I ain't got to answer that, or well, I ain't gonna do that. Well, so what? That ain't nobody that's on no level to be even wasting time with. And that is one section and promised space of air that I ain't giving up for the likes of anyone like that. And for what? I mean, here's the point. It says a lot when no one is actually even acknowledging your existence or presence. But all you were doing is screaming out in front of a big plate class window saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Everybody on the inside, it sure looks fun. See, what I'm saying to you is life has moved on. Pardon my back. Yeah, other people might do that, not the alpha male squad. See ya. And I mean, hey, man, good parting gift though. Thank you. I was just given an award for being a beautiful ass nigga, right? I'll take that. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. See, that's another thing too. What is that they say about light-skinned dudes? Why are light-skinned dudes so pro-black? One thing I don't necessarily put it on complexion. One thing I will say though, I'll put it on confidence. Confidence versus insecurity. And you can hear insecurity, but one of the things that you'll hear is because a person knows they're moving into an intelligent space. So one of the first things you're going to hear is a repeated phrase because they're uncomfortable. So you're going to hear certain hey, hey, and then a word follows, or this, or a phrase. It's almost like Tourette's. Well, I guess kind of is. It's kind of brought on like nervousness. But see, here's again, I'm telling you, I hear certain things in certain people's voice. You just hear you can literally hear a person's spirit in a voice. If you listen good enough, you can hear a person's whole intentions. It ain't hard to read. I mean, it's not a lot hidden in the voice. The voice is one of the most pure things you got. Now, if somebody know how to really listen to you, they be like, oh man, you full of crap. Or this person's scheming, or this person got an agenda. So on and so forth. With that being said, we always have to be mindful of how we conduct ourselves with everybody, improve everybody, make sure everybody's solid. Because we as black folks, we're the kind, loving bunch. Unfortunately, with being the kind, loving bunch makes us the bunch that always gets ran over. And I don't know about you, but I know I am tired of doing that. So, real quick, before we wrap up, damn it, I did not want that to go, but let me read this little story to you real quick. Because the Voices of New Black Media in the Grassroots and the B1, Foundational Black American Space and the Freedmen, shout out to the Freedmen, have absolutely been making positive waves in these spaces. And, with assistance from some others, but I think those are the main ones that I have seen that really been kind of doing things that not everybody sees. Because, hey, man, see, the one thing about it, and that's how I'll know people really desire to be in the empowerment space. Being in empowerment is kind of a thankless job. And if you're getting attention, typically it's negative. Welcome to the real world of empowerment because you wanted to be over here, right? Because you've been doing it. So this shouldn't be anything new for you. Oh boy, just the difference between marathon men and women and sprinters is just astronomical. It's like, boy, you showed up with your sprint shoes on, huh? You fast, huh? Jesus. So check this out, family. Biden warns LGBTQ children, plus children could be next target of Republican MAGA crowd. Okay. Y'all feeling that line? Oh, if you didn't know, Joe Biden also came out his mouth and said that the MAGA crowd is the biggest threat that America's ever seen. Notice how they're going back to the MAGA thing. Why aren't we talking about white supremacy, Joe? But you're talking about MAGA. Make America great. Well, that was the slogan of the last president. Your president now. He hasn't even announced he's running. And even if he is running, he's going to be running on the old slogan? Okay, Joe. All right, let's see here. Let me get back into a little more of this. Let me read a little bit. President warns of new attacks by Trump-dominated political party. Wait. President warns of new attacks by Trump-dominated political party after Supreme Court ruling drafts leak on abortion. Trump-dominated party? Wow. Okay, well that's a stretch of wording, considering how he's not, other than being a former president who's a Republican, and he's co-signed a few individuals. What is he doing? Other than he's also not looking in the greatest health either. So, man, okay. Again, I have to wonder, are we purposely overlooking DeSantis for a reason? Because this is liberal news here. They're acting like this dude ain't over here preparing himself to run for president. It's like, what's happening here? What am I seeing? Do they really think that Ron DeSantis can't win? Oh, you know what? I guess they did before they recognized how many of the black voters are actually conservative. Not that we're Republican, but our views naturally lean conservative. Black don't mean liberal. Liberal does not mean black, and conservative does not mean white. That's why us as a specific group needs to look out for our group's interest only. Okay. Let's see. Joe Biden has warned of a new attacks on civil. Joe Biden has warned of new attacks on civil rights as the Supreme Court prepares to strike down the right to abortion. Telling reports, so first he brings in civil rights. Civil rights, there was nothing about civil rights that had anything to do with abortion. So are you noticing? Even in our heroes and our fallen and slain by their family members, now they're still trying to tie the blood of our people into their agenda when they were the murderers of these people. Wow. Boy, the demonic theatrics of these people never cease to amaze. And I'm sure you got family members be, hey, man, you know, they're still better than Trump, man. Okay. Telling reporters at the White House that LGBTQ plus children could be the next targets of a Trump-dominated Republican Party. He called this, quote, this MAGA crowd, and, quote, the most extreme political organization in recent American history, unfreaking quote. Let me read that last quote again. The most extreme political organization in recent American history. Are you out your mind? Oh, well, I guess you would tend to forget, since your predecessor's particular group is one that they always still keep throwing out there, the KKK. So, family, we have to make sure we push back against all of this black and brown and all of these other antics like Roe v. Wade. So little irresponsible Becky can hide the fact that they had 17 soul polls in 1 month from their father when they have to go home on spring break. And then, in the future, they'll whiten it up like Kim Kardashian is doing it right now, becoming white again with Pete Davidson. Now she's went blonde. My wife just told me. And so now everybody gets the chance to see her. Hey, man, when I was dealing with those lowly, downtrodden Negroes, I was on drugs. Yes, MC 007. I actually played her interview a little earlier. If you didn't catch that, so yes. Watch Beatzilla, April 27th. Yes, indeed, Cloutopia. And for those who are unaware of what Cloutopia is, it is it is one thing that some people have fell into. Most importantly, the sock dancer. Yes. The the, the toothless the toothless bandits. The Jesse James of the not so wild Midwest. Um, Man, they got some things going on out there that probably need some tended to versus what's going on over here. I'll tell you that. But nonetheless, sad. But in some cases, large groups provide a place for people who aren't normally interesting to most people. And when the space provides same said person with the mic, they can easily fall into the pitfalls of cloutopia, where anyone who is great over talker while being a bad listener can be passed off as wise because the spirit of wisdom clearly took a pass on all of them. And I just gotta say, when you take your cues from one who flew over the cuckoo's nest, when the rubber hits, man, when that other shoe hit, oh man, all that can be done over there is just say it ain't so though. I've been nice, and I try, but hey, man, again, thanks for the award. You got other people I'm on there with good looking individuals. You do have me on there with some coons, and then you got Brother Afro Elite up there with a picture of William O'Neill. And it's funny when you the first Judas goat in the mix. That's amazing. But, and you know what? When you hear that name and then you turn around and own it, if only Hit Dogs Holler was a person, I guess I'll just see a bunch of more screaming videos. But remember, you gotta tag me in it, or I don't see all your rant. Oh my Lord! Oh man, this is, and it's incredible. But this is the point, and all of the new black media content creators, especially the newer ones, understand this type of thing ain't new. This is gonna be, so you're always gonna have the boo-boo, the fools that figure, hey man, let me go ahead and get in here and pry my way in here. Oh, that won't work? Well, shit. Let me go ahead and start a beef. Let me start an internet beef. Hey, I'm gonna say this about you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. If you can't do this, then we have nothing to talk about. So, we will get back to understanding what the code is, because the code is the leader. And see, everybody over here in this new black media space, down to media platform creators such as Brother Jay from 6 Zeros. I mean, see, people over here are actually doing things. These are platforms that are being created. If you didn't see him here, he was here Friday. I'm pretty sure you caught that. I mean, it is what it is. So, unfortunate, but this is one thing. When people see things that are going on, you got to understand. There's elements of jealousy, and there's things that you don't have any control over with how other people perceive things, how they perceive themselves, how they perceive you. So they may look at themselves in the mirror and be like, hey, I'm a superstar in my own mind. I actually heard a dude say that one night at a show. I think he was hella high on ecstasy, though. But nonetheless, that's exactly what came out of his mouth. Man, I feel like I'm a superstar in my own mind. Ooh, where you feeling it tonight, ain't you, fam? Jesus. So, yeah. Oh, I'm trying to find this for you. Oh, no. What is this here? What is this? What is this?
Always played the fool.
Oh, man. Damn. Foolish clowns. Well, but see, you always, what you get from the byproduct of dealing with foolish clowns is you always spend your time ingesting careless whispers. Wham! Oh my goodness. And what makes it so bad is what I'm saying right now, penetrates so much more further to the core than anything you could ever say to me. Don't this hurt right now? Oh, man. Lord. Okay, so let me find this last joint here. He said, not Wham. Oh, man. So, yeah, sitting up there listening to careless whispers. But, boy, you better switch it up and look in the mirror and go to Depeche mode. Open your mouth and enjoy the silence. Words are so very unnecessary. They can only do harm. Message. Woo, boy. Rough out here in these streets. Now, as a refresher, let's remember how we got to Roe v. Wade in the first place. And it was brought up in the chat, so I will do a refresher before we get out of here so y'all understand fully what happened.
Jane Roe's story was a terrible one. She said she had been gang raped, gotten pregnant, was desperate to get an abortion. That's what everyone believed as long as Jane Roe remained anonymous. When she went public, she told a different story.
You were raped while you were in Georgia?
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so all those stories that are in the books and so forth are not true?
Yes, sir. Yes.
They're not true.
Right.
And it turned out that lying wasn't the only embarrassment this darling of the pro-choice forces presented. In her personal treatise published last year, Norma McCorvey told the story of her somewhat sordid life. Then she still adamantly supported abortion. Now she adds that to the list of sins she took with her into the baptismal pool.
I've cheated people out of money. I've sold drugs. I was an abusive alcoholic for, many, many years. I've done a lot against his teachings. But I think the far greater sin that I did was to be the plaintiff in Roe versus Wade.
So, just like Carolyn Bryant, her lies sparked the civil rights movement. And then Joe Biden dares invoke civil rights within the conversation of the Roe v. Wade. When, again, we are talking about Planned freaking Parenthood. This woman. And we've already played what the letter was that they referenced in the other clip that I played. So y'all seen and heard for yourselves. The letter is on the screen. So even if you played this video back with the sound off, the thing is still there. You understand? So let's see. They're crying about this, but just last year it was this. Man, you don't know, man, I got control over my body. You can't tell me what to do with my body. Democracy is freaking leaving, man. Man, democracy's freaking over. Oh my God, it's communism, dude. Oh man, if we can't do this, man, something's wrong with you. You can't control what I want to do. If I want to put that little bugger to death, you can't stop me. See, here's one thing about me. When I grew up, I don't play no games. I'm going to let you know what you're doing. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm not finna lie to you. I got friends and relatives that have been to the hitman. I got some cousins that didn't want to tell me. I got one cousin that been to the hitman. Boy, man, some of these doctors, what's the difference between them and a person on death row? Some of these cats got more bodies than Dahmer. I mean, what the hell are we talking about? Y'all out here, oh my God, are you crazy? Y'all are pro-death. I know what they told you, but no. That means life. You're literally pro-death. And think that we don't know what place we talk about when we shout this down every week? Yes, the hell we do. I wrote a song called I Will Fly Away because in this world of blatant chaos, the truth is so very hard to see. And in this world of blatant chaos, some other people just see this. But for the real true revolutionaries, we keep it on the G.
Cannot be discussed on camera.
Why?
Because no wise soldier, nor general, nor freedom fighter, revolutionary, nor warrior discusses that kind of sensitive subject on camera or with a member of that people who have worked so hard to put us in this condition and position and keep us in this position and conditions.
It sounds like you're talking about covert military operations.
It sounds like I'm not talking about anything. Let's pull over right here and let me.
You see how real individuals conduct themselves in this true revolutionary situation to how a lot of us are labeled. See, when you get a tag from one of them alphabet sources like us, I mean, I don't know what this ain't no internet clout. You don't get internet clout for being on their list, man. The hell is wrong with y'all? I mean, oh, he's a nobody. See, if I was a nobody, my name would not be on that damn list. You would not be able to Google that and see that they associate me with certain groups. Yeah, I'm an Israelite. But you know what they like doing? They've been trying to make us a hate group for about 20 years. Now here's this. You know, it's not just Israelites, it's NOI. I'm sure the Moors probably ain't too far removed from that. 5%ers. I mean, man, anybody who's black looking for and you're looking at yourselves as the unit of instruction and growth, they start going on alert. So anytime, like in my situation, I had myself, Nation of Islam brother, a brother that was like kind of like going in the a traditional Hebrew type thing, and then just all these other randoms that would come through. That place of business where we used to congregate, they closed it Easter weekend, 2015. It's still closed and empty today. See, these people are very well aware when black folks start coming together on some positive things. I suspect that they would go just the length to pay a person to close. Just a thought. But when you start moving into closer to being a decade later than it being to like just a little while, wow, that's a prime real estate to have been empty for so long. On a corner, right on a smack in, like this actually possesses 4 freeway on ramps and off ramps. So one going north, one going south, and then vice versa, getting off. Imagine that. Oh yeah, not to mention, did I forget that the mass transit train is literally just a 5-minute walk down from this corner. Understand, it's not just about having the money, but it's about having the people. Because see, sometimes you can have a movement and they can figure out, okay, so if we pay this person, then everybody else will just be enthused when this person says, hey, something happened for me, I'm going to dip. I got a sick aunt out here in somewhere, and they really moving to the Bahamas. See, when people put people out there, say, man, you like William O'Neill. First off, anybody in that position had to be with you and be close to you to be in that situation. For a person whom you do not have a relationship with, especially a personal close relationship with, to where y'all would be in the same home, there's no relative situation. So it's really homemade to make such a kind of comparison. But this is what we're dealing with out here nowadays, unfortunately. The real true militants They have kind of got out the way, so other people have learned how to move differently. And then you got these goony goo-goos and these boo-boo the fools coming out of the woodwork because they think now's the time to get their clout juice on. And all they doing is drawing attention, making themselves look like some kind of flaky paramilitary minded group with no real plan. If they're not careful, they will find themselves with an infiltrator that will easily have them caught up doing some stupid shit. And we saw this happen in my own city where they saw the government literally came in here, sought this kid out, and set him up to have a fake bomb at New Year's Eve. And the whole plan was the damn feds. This kid was never even in the slang. They came in his life and then set him up, made him this big ass patsy for what? Just to air him out. I don't even understand why they did it because it's like, well, we're looking at it. You groomed him to do this, and now you're prosecuting him as he's the problem? Oh, man, we done. Man, this place is finished. Absolutely freaking finished. As well as it should be. And with that being said, we are going to get to these last tidbits before we skedaddle for the evening. Let me see what this is. Oh, yeah, okay. So again, like I said, some people have themselves confused, and when they believe they the big guys, they're really the little guys. And I'm saying little guys can't get nothing done. You dig? Yeah, little guys can't definitely get something done, man. But we gotta understand, man. When you this dude, it's gonna take a lot of unrealistic situations to make you look like you're authentic. And some of us really don't need the gimmicks because we bring it authentic. As it's been said, real recognized, real. And when you have so many issues of fakery, then that means that you have a hard time recognizing real. So, I'm just saying, when you see people not understanding the kind of concepts that they are displaying, see, when they think they are really wise, they don't understand. You're the little man. Now, yeah, okay, you could make a little noise and whatnot, but is this really realistic? No, I don't think so. But, man, hey, whew, boy. Mm, 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 mm. So as y'all see, when you are feeling yourself a little tough, that's kind of how you see yourself in your mind. And then, and this cat might really see himself like that because he also be dealing with insecurities as well. Like you heard him say, he always has played the fool. So it's typical routine for a person that actually openly admits they always played the fool. So I guess this is no different, dude. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Cat, that actor looks like an Emmy nominated producer. Oh. Capricorn is hey. Oh man, I'm telling you, I don't know what people be thinking, man. I guess he done gave up on his gospel career because he was He was a preacher for a second. He was the Hebrew from Hades. Giving you the Smokers Chronicles. Straight from Cluckville. Repping the bando. I'm in front of the bando with the trash bag on the ground. Woo!
Every time I have always played the fool.
Damn. I guess so. Now remember.
Teach your man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
Man, and for all of y'all who keep hanging around this cat, telling y'all, man, Sunday service gonna be like this one of these Sundays, y'all.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
And then he gonna hop right back in the back channel, trying to hop back on somebody's phone just like this.
I'm not gay no more. 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 I am delivered. I'm delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. I said I like women. I will love a woman.
I bet y'all still ain't figured out that's what's going on with your homie, huh? Y'all still ain't figured that out over there, huh? All that overdrawn ass energy, but I already showed you what that dude said a real street dude 35 is gonna act like. You don't act like that. Y'all ain't figured that out yet, huh? Y'all just think all that loud, tough screaming is like manliness. Shit. Nah, man. Whoo! Like I said, when that other shoe dropped, boy, I'm talking about all credibility right out the damn window. No coming back. One who flew over the cuckoo's nest on crack, and you over here, alpha male who can't even fix. Yeah, I hate.
35 plus.
Listen to alpha male.
You still acting like you a super duper street nigga. That's because you wasn't no street nigga when you was in your 20s, man. You still trying to shit, because if you was a street nigga when you was a teen and you was a street nigga when you in your 20s, by the time you hit 30, you ain't trying to be no street nigga, man. You trying to get some fucking money and get the fuck out the way, because if you was really in the streets by the time you 30, nigga, you done seen more niggas take that Escalade ride to heaven
at a meeting with God
than you could even count, nigga.
Yeah.
So by the time you 30, you done lost a shitload of niggas to gun violence, a shitload of niggas to jail, your aunts and your grandmothers to cancer and all kinds of shit. Man, you trying to get some fucking money and live life, man. You ain't out here 38 talking about, ooh, I'm tough. Ooh, look at me. Ooh, I'm trying to prove myself. I'm a gangster. Ooh.
So sad. What's even sad is watching the.
Every time I have always played the fool.
You gonna be doing I'm not gay no more, huh? Oh, that's funny. Juicy small, yeah, in a few months. Lord. Well, so with that being said, I just wanted to make myself abundantly clear. Because here's what makes it so bad. And I'm sure there's a lot of nice people in that environment. unfortunately, when you have the wrong people in front of a good message, or anybody, like, again, I have to take the judgment. Okay, if you're judging who you think I am based on what you heard from this individual, oh man, all right. I'm looking at like there's nothing you could ever tell me that would impress me at this point. You cannot impress me about anything. Nothing. You would have to be like literally in making something, inventing it from scratch before my face, before I would even give any credence to anything you said, just because of what I know you're doing right there. And if you still haven't figured it out, that just tells me all I need to know about you. I mean, shoot, some of the other little boys you run with came off up in there and was like, hey, okay, well, him snip them right on out. Jesus. What's up with the energy over there? And yeah, I'm certain on who the ringleader is now. But anyway, whew. Empowerment's a rough deal because some people sometimes, unfortunately, really think it's about clout, and it is not. It absolutely is not. So, unfortunately, we have to still deal with malcontents and all types of crazy behavior in our mix. And I would advise all of you to keep it on code as much as possible. The one thing I would do is to advise any real man to not be doing Twitter banging, Twitter wall banging in 2022 when you're over the age of 35. I mean, we're sitting up here. And another thing before I go, let me remind y'all: calling ICE is not snitching. I'll say that again: calling ICE is not snitching. Calling ICE is not snitching. By their definition of snitching, if you went and fulfilled jury duty, you're snitching. Don't listen to idiots with no rationale. They got a bunch of logic and reason with no wisdom. And if they're leading with their gang, over 30, they clearly are living with something to prove. And if that is the bulk of what they are living for, they do not value their life much. Because they're not really aspiring to get out the damn gutter themselves. Leave them be. With that being said, we are going to hear this last little tasty tidbit from those who do understand. And for the people who are riding the fence and watching this now, like, I don't know, but I do kind of like what you're saying. This is why.
Had a change of heart. Because the slaves that God wanted to use, that he produced and purified through the furnace of affliction, Pharaoh then felt threatened that they would one day supplant him. Come on, minister, come on. So he decided to kill them all. And he sent his army after Moses and the children of Israel. Now, what is the army that Pharaoh sent out to kill the children of Israel? And what is this army that the modern Pharaoh has sent out to kill the children of the former slaves? Since we are the fulfillment of the prophetic picture of the children of Israel, listen. What is Pharaoh's army? Is the Food and Drug Administration part of that army? Is the Center for Disease Control a part of the army? Are the pharmaceutical companies a part of the Army? Is the American Medical Association a part of the Army? Is the court system and the prison system part of that Army? Is the closing of hospitals in the black community, is that a part of the plan? Is closing Grady Memorial, is that a part of the plan? Is the placement of black people near hazardous waste sites, is this part of the armed forces that have been let loose to kill the modern Moses and Aaron and to kill the modern children of Israel? Look at the death rates among black people. Look at the diseases that afflict us. Look at the government policies that promote this destruction of the black community. Is this an accident or is this on purpose?
Preach, minister, preach.
The army's behind us, but the Red Sea is in front of us. And the Red Sea represents war, revolution, and bloodshed that is going on, and the only way we can get through to that promised land which God has promised is that there must be a parting of the Red Sea, that the righteous may go through safely. And this is where we are today. And this is why both the Bible and Quran suggest a plan of salvation for the righteous. Are you ready to come out? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, quote, integration is a hypocritical trick to make you think that your 400-year-old enemy has all of a sudden become your friend. He's given us many promises. All of them have proved false. So are we ready now to accept the promise of God? Some of us are in a wilderness condition, murmuring against God because we came out from under Pharaoh but have not gotten where God wants us to go. So we're in the wilderness wondering whether we should go back and serve Pharaoh because it's too hard to think about building an independent nation. It's too hard to think about being free from our former slave masters and their children. We think it is too hard to build up an economy that will take care of the needs of our people. It's too hard. Let's go back and serve Pharaoh. So those who came out in the 60s, we used to say, what time is it? And we would cry back, it's nation time. But we don't hear you anymore. You're in the wilderness now, murmuring against those who would desire to separate and build an independent existence. You're murmuring now against the voices that call for reparations. You're murmuring now because you've gone back to Pharaoh and you're comfortable with Pharaoh, but the masses of your people are not. We want out of this. How long will we continue to suffer in every generation fighting the same people that our fathers fought, that our grandfathers fought, that our great-grandfathers fought, and now you're still willing to pass on to your children your cowardice because you still want a place with your former slave masters and their children. How long can we commit another generation to the slaughter of our open enemies? How long? Don't look at me like I've did something wrong. It's time for you scared to death Negroes to bite the dust. Our people must be free.
And a shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let me say something. Cowardice comes in many forms, but cowardice always shows itself with a person who is always afraid to face its actual enemy. It is always easy to go at one another who is a victim of white supremacy. But over here, we fully understand the number one objective: toppling, trampling, dismantling, disrupting, ending white supremacy. You will not be able to hide your cowardice at calling out other victims of white supremacy for whatever little tit or tat that you want. Because bottom line is, while you're spending all of your time fighting people who look just like you, we are the ones who are fighting the ones who don't. Not you. That's the hard, cold truth. Happy first day of the Gemini moon. You know, there's a lot of people who are looking for a seat at that table. You know how they are? It's because they will scream loud, but never ever call out white supremacy day in, day out, like I do. I don't see these individuals doing it. I see going back and forth like the rest of the voices of new black media. Or what about the things of helping other people's channels grow? All that other stuff that isn't on the forefront that people see. See, because there is a benefit of that, and in that, if it is important for you to see other people do good. See, so here's another thing. You're a coward when it comes to white supremacy, and you're a hater when it comes to your own. Don't think everybody can't see you. The reason why you're in a clump like you are is because birds of a feather flock together. And one bad apple definitely ruins that whole bunch. With that being said, Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. And with that being said, family, you can follow me on Instagram at beatzillapdx, Twitter at beatzillapdx, which I'm sure all of y'all, some of y'all already know. Facebook, beatzillapdx, Patreon, beatzillapdx official, and on Melanated People, Michael Beatzilla Whitmore. You understand? And you know, for all the Babylon supporters, the two-thirds club volunteers, if you may have some questions, you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. That's ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, and even if you're a hater, you can still donate. Because even, real recognize real, and even sometimes haters recognize real and say, hey, I'll put some money in the bucket. Screw that dude. I'll still give him something because I see it. You dig? So with that being said, you could do so at CashApp $beatzillapdx. That is CashApp $beatzillapdx. And of course, we also have PayPal. You can hit that at Zilla Muzak. That is ZILLAMUZAK. You understand what I'm saying? So, with that being said, family, we have to always keep in mind that we got money coming to us. We have justice coming to us. And actually, let me not say money. Wealth. We have wealth due to us. Straight up. So until that debt is paid, we don't need to turn our focus to nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? So for those in this mix, you dig? I hope everything has been understood. And understand what Cinco de Hustle means. It means that we are shaking off all dead weight that does not belong to our cause. If you want to deal with us as a group, fine, we can deal. But if we are not dealing on at least a even beneficial situation, no deal, no conversation, take that elsewhere. We have nothing to do with that. Reparations, reparations, reparations. Hashtag no tangible, no vote. That's why B1 Rise 2022. Now, with that being said, we will be back here Friday. We will be back here Friday for the weekly wrap up. And if anybody would say, hey, you guys need to get down with this and black folks and this and that, man, let me tell you like Jeremiah Wright.
First was the controversial Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
I say America, America's mother, America's daddy, America can eat a dick, America can lick the balls.
And if anybody come in there talking about, man, can't we all just get along? Always remember.
These old niggas.
And with that one, I'm telling y'all, my last word of advice, tighten up your circle and clean up your circle. But one day it just might be like this for you.
Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us.
Teach a man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
Stay away from liars and don't follow crazy people. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is,
Yes, sir.
you don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth.
Yeah.
See, that's what you throw.
Yes, right, right.
Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knocked out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.